I'll see you guys in the dark.
I'm not a person who owns many fears. Those slim fears that I do have, carved in my bones, are for good reason. I fear the night, because that's when the doors would slam open, and I would hear my father drunkenly call out to me. I fear gravestones, for I know one day that is all I will be. I fear illness, for it fills my bones, and every organ like bees swarming their hive. I do not have long left on this earth, so I live for what I have, or can have. I do not live in fear. The greatest fear, however, is one that I do not mention often. I truly fear it is the most irrational of all of them, the one I can describe the most poorly, the one people joke about the most, because a person can fear the dark, or dogs, or even something silly like mice or bugs, and everyone sees it as commonality. No one bats an eye at this. But when I tell them that, my skin crawls, and my heart skips every time a man walks nearby me. They raise a brow. How can you fear men? I've heard of the things you've done with men before. You're just being silly, are all phrases that I hear way too often. My answer is a simple reply. Nathan. Nathan was my first love. Until I had been with him, I truly believed that I was gay. But then this sweet angel walked into my life, and well, I thought I was missing out. He covered me in kisses and made me feel special. He held my hand and let everyone know who I was to him. Well, at first. It quickly got bad. We had been dating for 5 or 6 months, and all throughout, he pressured me into sleeping with him. He guilted me for not being ready. I'm going to die a virgin if you loved me. This wouldn't be a problem. Are you sure that you aren't ready? I think that you're lying. Eventually I gave in. I didn't want to, but he guilted me so deeply that I believed it was my fault. It only got worse from there. I never woke up to another kiss, only fingers down my pants, or something rubbing up against me. I became a toy to him, something to will his every fantasy on. My cosplays are no longer for my pleasure, or a hobby to me. They became a sexual thrill to him. Suddenly, he didn't just want plain old Elise anymore. He wanted Wonder Woman or Harley Quinn. At this point, it was almost a year in when he started getting a thrill out of putting his hands on me. At first, it was just sexual. Everyone's into something rough now and then, right? I gave in and let him. It started with beratement, calling me wretched words, telling me terrible things. It wasn't ever sexy. It was always him getting out frustrations on me, only to apologize after and pretend he just got a thrill out of it. Then it became more aggressive. A few hits here and there turned into black eyes and missed patches of hair before I knew it. He convinced me in this time he was only the man that could ever love me. He told me I deserved the things he gave me, and that even considering leaving him would be a sin. Eventually, he became manipulative in everyday life, not just in my room. I stopped being able to contain him between 4 walls. This is where my fear truly began. No one ever noticed, not friends, not family, and not even teachers. It was always small. I'd say something wrong to his friends, and he'd dig his fingernails into my knuckles. I'd laugh at the wrong time, and he'd nudge me. I knew that meant more to come for me later. He forced me to throw away every friendship that I had. He made me believe every person I cared for was toxic, and at this point, I was so beaten down, I believed everything he said, so I gave up on everyone. At one point, he attempted to convince me to give up talking to my own mother, who both him and I lived with at the time. The only people I was allowed to actively see were his friends when he was with us. At one point, he found out his friend had some video games that he wanted. Nathan forced me to pretend to have feelings for this poor man, to try and convince him to share his Steam library with me, so that he could play them all. I started getting attached to this other man, and when Nathan realized, he quickly shut it down. Later on in life, I told the other guy the true reason I had seen him, and he never believed me. He still won't talk to me to this day. Our relationship was falling apart fast at the 1.5 year point, and Nathan knew about it. He forced me to do drugs with him, drugs that to this day I still have an addiction to. He lied to me and told me his parents kicked him out of his home, which is why he was staying with me and my parents. They expected him to be there for 2 weeks. 2 weeks turned into 2 months, and eventually rose up on nearly a whole year. They wanted to support me because they saw how I felt for him, but soon enough, they grew sick of it. However, the night before my dad's birthday, he came to us. He told Nathan and I that he was going to let everything go for his birthday. He wanted to have a nice day with no irritation, just full of love. He asked us to sleep early because we were all going to the beach the next day. Nathan had different plans, though. He took my prescription Xanax and forced me to take so much that I was basically just a body, unmoving. He wanted to use my body. He insisted I needed it. Him and I stayed up all night. He used me for nearly 10 consecutive hours. I was too high to stop him. In the morning, my mother came to wake us up. Nathan insisted whatever she was waking us up for wasn't important, and at that point, my parents had enough. They told him to get out. They started throwing his things into the living room, and everyone was yelling. My mother was crying because she wanted to help me, but didn't know how. Nathan came to me, all of my prescription pills in his hand, and held them out to me. "Do you trust me?" It took me a minute before I said yes. "Take your pills, all of them. You won't die, but they'll forget all about me and worry about you. We'll be fine after this, I promise." I overdosed on 300 Xanax, Zoloft, and various other antidepressants and sleep aids. I was in the hospital for nearly a month, and a mental hospital for 2 weeks, 11 days longer than most people. I wish I could say this is where it stopped. After I was out of the hospital, I was so excited for my life to begin again, but Nathan had other plans. He continuously broke into my home, through my garage window. Nearly every night, he walked to my house, breaking my window open and sneaking in. I was still delusional from the pills at this point, and I welcomed him with open arms. When he told me to steal my dad's credit card and run away with him, I didn't think twice. It's been 5 years since we finally split up, after the police found us and made us go home. He joined the military. I never pressed charges on him. He still communicates with me often. He tries messaging me at least monthly. A part of me thinks he truly is the only man that would ever love me, but then I remember that I'm still healing, and no matter what, I can't throw myself back into his sinister games. I guess that's why I'm submitting this story, because I want the closure I never was given. But yes, I do fear men. Every man that walks by me smells like Nathan. They laugh like Nathan. Every new man I bring to bed with me touches me like Nathan, running their fingers down my skin, their fingertips cold as ice. I guess I'll never really let him go. And I suppose that is what I'm truly afraid of. So, she was dating him for 3.5 years, and lived with one another, as well as her mom and stepdad. Long story short, he is still living at their home, claiming he is looking for a spot for the last 2 months. They will talk or text often regarding a dog they purchased together. She loves the dog, but it's his technically. He constantly manipulates her in various ways, yet she lets him apologize, and they move on. She tries to avoid him. He badmouths her, saying she is spending too much time away from home, and constantly checks up on her, for the dog's sake at least. The big thing was a couple weeks ago she admitted to sleeping with him twice within a week span. She told me the next day after the second time. I've forgiven her, and believe it will work. She apologized tremendously, and says it will not happen again. She wants me, and not him. She loves me, not him. He has found ways to send messages to my phone, and claim I am getting fooled, and describes nights she says she's at home, and days she wasn't with me. He has been very detailed in his random messages, but I believe it all to be false. She has me block the numbers as soon as I let her know. I'm trying to remain in the mindset of trusting, truly forgiving, but why isn't he gone by now? Why the communication? Am I overreacting? Never been cheated on. I never dealt with this much within just a few months. She has recently left me to go back with her ex. They had been talking about working it out, so she took her things and just left. I honestly hope that she is happy with him. I'm not happy that she cheated on me, and definitely not happy that she kept all of this behind my back. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell for notifications on future videos, and become a stalker of the night. And I'll see you next time.